Have you ever stepped inside of a painting? This is episode 15, Pixar and the Inn at Stone City. Welcome, everyone.
There you go. So we're into story time already. By the way, that painting you saw, Holly did that in the 70s with a friend. It was a collaboration. And interestingly enough, of course, that was way before I met Holly. My favorite artist was Grant Wood. And that painting was sort of fashioned on the Grant Wood style. So it's interesting that we have this hanging in our office. So, by the way, you could show the screen, because I wanted you to see Holly in her overalls. It's a little bit of a Grant Wood feel right there. Anyway, this story is based on the experience I spoke about in a previous stream. When we were very young, we didn't just listen to music or just look at a painting. We went inside and explored. We weren't instructed by the rules of art, so we weren't like caught up in this on the surface of the painting with intellectual distractions. So here's the story. I love this. This is my favorite story.
Me too.
You too?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. As a very young child, my parents had Grant Wood placemats on our breakfast table every morning. The images were from the painting titled Stone City, Iowa. I remember falling in love with the landscapes and the puffy trees. As kids, we hadn't yet learned that there was such a thing as bad art or bad music. So we allowed everything, anything, even something as mundane as the tiny white hexagon-shaped bathroom tiles to inspire our attention and awe. It's not working. There it is. Remember going in there and exploring? There was a natural joy and love of shape, light, shade, color, sound, motion, words. And we had no judgment process to compromise a complete surrender into the beauty, the wonder, and the amazement. Don't you remember that? Day after day, I was drawn deeply into my favorite painting on the breakfast table, going into it and becoming part of it. I would walk towards the artist's classic puffy lollipop trees and shrubs. I sat by the creek, which ran along the farmhouse, and I watched a horse and buggy progress toward the willowy bridge. I'd explore inside the little stone building. But then I was snapped back to the kitchen table as a glass of milk and a plate of bacon and eggs from Mom would obstruct my view. And you could see, I'm afraid there's tomatoes on the bacon. That's just sort of a healthy 2020 update from the 1940s when I'm telling about this story.
Yeah, no bacon.
Yeah, so you can come back here now. So 70 years later, Grant Wood renderings launched me into this nostalgic transcendence. So one day back in 1982, Holly and I were on a tour in Iowa. We arrived at this quaint little town called Stone City, Iowa. And we drove up to this little stone building, went inside to do an early afternoon sound check. And on a wall near the stage hung a painting by Grant Wood. Of course, I had to stop what I was doing and gaze and connect with that joy. It was that painting I told you about. You know, with the little stone building, the horse and buggy. Yeah, it's not there. I never knew the title of the painting, but I noticed at that moment it was called Stone City, Iowa. It was interesting because we were in Stone City, Iowa, and the club I was performing at was called the Inn at Stone City and General Store. I found the woman that was hosting me, and I asked her about the significance of that painting in Stone City, and she pointed out that we're standing inside the stone building represented in the painting. I ran outside, and there it was, the creek, a bridge. I turned around, and there was the little stone building I had just been standing in. And I was inside the painting, just as I experienced as a child. I ran back into the club and stood in front of the Grant Wood in a bit of a dreamy state that can happen when your mind is blown. With my eyes tearing and the goosebumps taking over, I stared at the painting and allowed myself to be drawn in. I saw a child looking back through the placemat and through the image and right at me. That child was me. At the breakfast table, looking into the painting in wonder and awe. We waved at each other for a moment until my mom obstructed the view with a glass of milk and a plate of bacon and eggs. So that's part one of the story of Stone City. We'll get back to it later. Yes, let's see where I am. I'm lost. Page 2, Grant Wood, building, Grant Wood Station. Okay, here we are. Okay, now we go. Okay, I know where I am now. So this is a song for Toronzo Can, and I wrote this song in the 70s for Siegel Schwall with a friend, Danny Glicken. And didn't know Toronzo, but a few months ago, Toronzo joined Chamber Blues and we did a concert together. And so Toronzo is a Chicago bus driver as well as a star on the Alligator Records blues label. And also someone requested this last week. That's where I'll be someday. I'm gonna dream, 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 dream. I'm gonna dream, 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 dream. I'm gonna catnap into a dream. Let the city blow downstream. this city blow downstream.
Woo woo.
Okay,
Fun, fun.
back to the end of the story.
Yes, now we're going to have a story chair.
Yeah. So, the story continues, and now it's called Sunstone City. So, you could show this. A few years ago, this is the Acorn Theater. That's Sue DeMel.
Chamber Blues, of course, one of our favorite places to perform.
Yep. And so a few years ago, Chamber Blues performance at the Acorn in Three Oaks, Michigan, I wrote some music to accompany a 3-minute experimental video made in 1979 that Holly and I Holly found this, actually. It's called Sunstone. Okay, so you could come back here. So the following Monday, after this weekend performance, I got a call, and the fellow introduced himself and said he was calling from Berkeley, California, and he had read a newspaper review about my performance with Chamber Blues over the weekend, and he wanted to know what made me interested in this particular film. So I was very excited to share my story with him, and I told him a little bit about myself, and then pretty much told him the whole story that I just told you guys about Grant Wood and in Stone City, Iowa, and how dimension in art was so important to me. I lectured this poor fella to death for over 30 minutes on dimension in art, and never showed a peep of interest about what he did or who he was. Then I was going to say, well, that's enough about me. Tell me what you think about me.
Exactly.
Then he told me that Sunstone, this movie, was probably the first all-digital video. It was released in 1979, and he wrote the code for it. And he said he was more proud of Sunstone than on Pixar's Toy Story.
Oh my God.
And I'm thinking, Toy Story? So finally, 45 minutes into the conversation, I asked him what he did. As I found out, I was speaking with the Alvy Ray Smith. He was the co-founder of Pixar with Steve Jobs.
Yep, that Pixar.
Yeah, and put the whole Pixar team together with John Lasseter, and he wrote the code for Toy Story. It's like amazing. So he was also the co-founder of Altamira, which was sold to Microsoft. He was the first director of computer graphics at Lucasfilms, Star Wars and all that. Original member of Computer Graphic Lab at New York Institute of Technology. He was the first graphics fellow at Microsoft, received 2 Academy Awards. He invented the first full-color paint program called Painter. You older people might remember that. He directed the Genesis directed the Genesis demo in Star Trek: The Wrath of Khan. Proposed and negotiated the Academy Award-winning Disney computer animation production team. Instrumental as a regent in initiating the Visible Human Project of the National Library of Medicine. He holds a PhD from Stanford. Shall I go on?
The list is quite long.
So that's Alvy. Did you show a picture of Alvy? So after
sweetest fellow, by the way.
Yeah. So after I found all that out on the phone call, I went, oops! I just spent 30 minutes lecturing Alvy Ray Smith on the importance of dimension in art. I may as well have been holding my breath at the bottom of San Francisco Bay so I could explain to fish why water is important. So fortunately, Alvy and I, and Holly and I, we all became great, great friends.
We just saw Alvy on our last tour in
our last
February.
Tour in Berkeley with Aki Kumar, actually.
Yes, lovely.
And before that, we got to introduce Alvy to Howard Levy, and they really hit it off. Anyway, that's the story. It's my favorite story, I gotta tell you. So I'm gonna say goodbye with this song. Both of these songs, you should show the album.
Oh, yes. Both of the songs that you heard today, the first one, just a
Just
city boy dreaming about the country.
just another city boy singing about the country life.
And that's
on the 953.
That's on 953, and Corky has always told me this is one of his favorite Siegel Schwall albums, and a lot of great tunes are on here,
But
such
also-
as I think it was The Wine. I'd like to spend some time alone. Every one is a jewel, so no wonder it's a favorite. This is available, by the way, in Corky's store. It's www.corkymusic.com
I don't know, they'll find
shop.
it. I think
So,
it's shop.
definitely a must-have, absolute
Okay.
must-have. And this one, of course, is the recent gem and jewel and available. So
That's
it's a little,
that's my
commercial.
my PR person, Holly.
Commercial break.
Show the painting that we have. That's the original.
Oh yes, Corky will tell this story one day about this, which is an extraordinary story. As you can see, it's the
An amazing story
artwork
about this artwork.
for the.
But the story will be like almost an hour long.
It's a phenomenal story.
amazing
So
story.
it'll be coming soon.
So, anyway, here we go. Listen to me, girl. What I say is true. You really knock me off of my feet. Can I walk and talk with you? My friends all think I'm crazy. Maybe they're right. But I'd like to spend some time alone with you tonight. Sweet little thingamadoozy, walking by my side. You look at me again like that, baby. I think I'll break right down and die. You might think I'm flipped out over you. Let me tell you that it's so. 'Cause I'd like to spend some time alone with you, you know. Well, you talk her with the razzmatazz. You shake her with the doodly-doo. Do you know what's on my mind? Do you know I want you to? Open up your sweet little arms. I'm gonna walk right in. 'Cause I'd like to spend some time alone with you, my friend. Oh, you shake me with a doodly-doo. You take it with a doodly-doo. Do you know it's on my mind? Do you know I want you to? Oh, open up your sweet little arms. I'm gonna walk right in. 'Cause I'd like to spend some time alone with you, my friend. That's all, folks.
Abadi, abadi, abadi. That's all, folks.
So,
We'll see
we'll see
you
you when?
Friday.
And we'd like to wish all the mothers out there a happy
Mother's Day. But I didn't finish my sentence.
Okay.
I can't remember what I was going to
You were
say
saying
now.
you can go up and see.
Oh, so you could go to quirkymusic.com/stream, and eventually we'll get to see everything, all the past streams on YouTube, plus this one that I'm going to put up soon. So I better stop talking, but I remember what I'm saying.
Where is it again?
quirkymusic.com/stream.
quirkymusic.com/stream.
Okay. So, we'll say goodbye now. Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.